smart enough to win. That's how the story starts. Learning is the edge that sets your work apart. When the stakes get high and the pressure never stops, smart learning in your pocket puts your business at the top.
Welcome to the Learning Advantage, from Insight to Impact, where we're going to show how smart learning fuels real business results. I'm Deb Laurel, and I'm your host. And I'm so happy to welcome all of you and our guest, Calvin Stovall, and I'll tell you more about him in a moment. For over 40 years, Laurel and Associates Limited has worked alongside national and international managers to help them successfully manage employees and create and maintain a positive, healthy, and supportive work environment where employees want to stay and do their best. We focus on making lackluster leaders legendary. The purpose of the Learning Advantage, from Insight to Impact, is to discuss how smart learning fuels real business results. In each episode, we strive to deliver actionable strategies, evidence-based design tips, and real-world case studies that show how learning strengthens organizational health, advances sustainability, and drives profitability. And for that reason, I'm delighted to introduce our guest for today, Calvin Stovall.
Hi, Deborah. Hi, Deborah. Thank you for having me today. Thank you.
Oh, I'm very happy to have you. Calvin is the Chief Experience Officer of Iconic Presentations, LLC. He specializes in delivering dynamic customer experience, leadership keynote presentations, and workshops for organizations nationwide. He has nearly 30 years of experience in the hospitality and nonprofit service industries. Today, he leverages his life experiences as a business leader and his passion for music to engage and connect with his audiences nationwide. Calvin is a native Chicagoan, close to me. I'm in Madison,
Yes.
and began his hospitality career as a front desk clerk at the Holiday Inn City Center. During his hospitality career as vice president of brand marketing with Hilton Worldwide, he was responsible for the marketing and public relations efforts for more than 150 Homewood Suites hotels. While under his leadership, the Homewood Suites brand was recognized 4 times by J.D. Power and Associates. Calvin formerly served as CEO of the Soulsville Foundation, a nonprofit based in Memphis, Tennessee. He also worked as a brand marketing strategist with ALSAC, the brand awareness and fundraising arm for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. In addition to running his own business venture, Calvin serves as Director of Executive Programs at the Advanced Leadership Institute based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. TALI's mission is to strengthen companies, institutions, and communities by cultivating leadership through world-class executive education programs tailored to support, develop, and retain Black leaders and their allies. For 2 consecutive years, Calvin was voted one of the 50 most inspirational people in travel hospitality by the International Hospitality Institute. Calvin is also the author of the NAACP Image Award nominated book, Hidden Hospitality: Untold Stories of Black Hotel, Motel, and Resort Owners from the Pioneer Days to the Civil Rights Era. Whew.
Wow, that was a mouthful. It's so odd when you hear somebody read that. You're like, oh. You did it so eloquently, though. Thank you. Thank you so much for that introduction.
So, Calvin, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
So we're going to get right into the questions.
Okay, let's go.
When you think about learning as a competitive advantage, what
Mhm.
does that mean in the context of your organization or your work?
Well, I think it is. I think learning is a competitive advantage. I look at competitive advantages as things that can't easily be copied. So I really believe that learning is a competitive advantage because if you create a culture within your organization that promotes learning, curiosity, continuing to improve, you are going to have a competitive advantage because that learning that leads to better innovation, creativity, thinking outside of the box. And so I think it is a competitive advantage. I look at learning and training as an investment, not an expense. So if you invest in your people, it's gonna manifest into a stronger and more your organization is just going to thrive because people are continuing to improve and get better. So that's my whole assessment on it. Companies that are stagnant and don't invest in training and learning and growth, they're the ones that get left behind. And I always say, like today, in the environment we live in today and work in today, you have to. There's a term called VUCA. I'm sure you probably heard it before. I think it's an old Army term, and VUCA stands for volatility. Volatility, uncertainty, uncertainty, complexity, and I believe it's adversity, something like that. I think I got it right. And so those three things, those four things, that's what we live in today. So I think you have to stay competitive. You have to make sure you're addressing those things because it's a tough. We live in a very fast-paced, changing world. So having a culture like that continues to grow and learn is important. It's important.
Without it, they really are not going to have any advantage.
Yes, that's right. And I think that A stands for ambiguity. That's what it was for.
That's what it stands for.
Yes. I had to fix it.
Can you share a specific example where a learning initiative moved from insight to real impact and how you measured that impact?
Wow. I'm going to move into tally with that one. So people, I want to just say up front, when I say tally, it's the Advanced Leadership Institute. And just to give you a little background on it, our CEO is Evan Frazier. I know we had talked about, hopefully he wasn't able to make it today. But Evan started an organization in Pittsburgh. He's a Pittsburgh native, and he started, I think it was a concept paper in 2016. You read the mission of what we do. And I think 2019 was the first cohort that we launched with the program. Is an Executive Leadership Academy. And then in 2021, we have an Emerging Leaders Program, which is for more up and coming managers. It's called Excellence in Leadership now. And then 2023, we launched our first National Executive Leadership Academy. So I would say Evan's insight and vision to do this, and it really started from the lack of Black leaders in Pittsburgh. And so he had a white paper and went around and shopped it around and ended up getting sponsors and so forth to launch this program. And now it's fantastic. And so as far as impact, I can go in a lot of directions with this, Deborah, but we followed, like, particularly after the first one or two cohorts, after 2 years after graduating from the program, because we do look at our data, we had 96% were either 96% of the Executive Leadership Academy cohort, they received increased responsibility or promotion after completing the program. And I believe for the 2 years after they completed, and I believe it was 87% had the same results after they completed the programs post 2 years, got additional responsibility as well, or promotion. And we know the program works. I mean, we just graduated 2 cohorts on the 5th of this month. and that's 250 alumni. So it's like, I think, the 15th cohort. So it is, the program works. We have we have a beautiful board of directors that are behind us, 27 corporate sponsors that believe in what we're doing. And I mean, we're like Giant Eagle, Highmark, FedEx, Coppers, PPG, PNC, UPMC, just to name a few. Believe in what we're doing, and they wouldn't be investing if they didn't see the results. We help them retain their employees, and people feel, people want to, because they have to get into the program. The organizations are sponsoring them, so they're investing in their talent, and so that just states that, hey, if they're going to put their people through a program like this, invest in it, because it's $20,000 a person to participate in the National Executive Leadership Academy, and it's $10,000 for the Leadership and Excellence and Leadership Program. So it's not cheap, but we do a great job. And we have a partner in Carnegie Mellon University, Tipper School of Business. I mean, one of the best schools you could have. We put together and have cultivated such a wonderful program to help people just go to that next level. And so we know we're making an impact. It's a very different program, and we create, I believe, and I'm sure the cohort, if they were on this call as well, that we create an environment where it's a safe space where people can truly learn. Of course, we have great curriculum, but they also learn from each other, and I think that makes a whole difference as well. So, yeah, I know that was a long response to your question, but I wanted to put it in context because I'm really proud to be a part of this program, and I love talking about it.
Well, as well you should.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Sounds like it's been incredibly successful.
It has been. Evan, well, everybody that works there, we all just care about what we do, and we see the impact. It's even more, because we're moving pretty fast. It's a 5-month program, like the National Executive Leadership Academy kicks off in February, it runs through June, and then it was ELP. I'm gonna call it ELP for short. It starts in January and we ended in June, and we graduated both cohorts together for the first time. And it was just hearing because we always have them each to graduate. We have picked 2 people to go up and share their reflections of what it felt like being in the program. And I'm telling you, it'll make you, it'll move your spirit hearing what they say. It just creates a whole nother level of confidence in them as a leader, going through a program like this, and knowing that you're changing people's lives like that, you can't help but love it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
What do you see as the biggest barrier preventing organizations from fully embracing lifelong learning, and how do you think we can overcome it?
I think one of the barriers, you know what, Deborah, I think I think I kind of said this before, but you got to look at training as an investment. I think sometimes people look at it as an expense. And also, I think people look at training as an event. I like, baby, let's train people once or twice a year and think that's it. I don't think you can't think of it that way. I believe learning is a continuous, always on type situation. You should always try to have ways to make people grow, help people grow and develop. But if you look at it as an event, I don't think you can fully maximize the potential of your people or your organization. It should be continuous learning all the time through mentorship, through, and that's one thing that I love about Tally. We have excellent curriculum, which we do, world class, but we also have other pillars. We have, they get an executive coach, get a mentor, and then they have the alumni. They become a part of this huge group of people that have been through our programs. And I just think that fellowship and all of that makes a difference. So I think the mindset that some corporations have is let's, training once or twice a year is it, I don't think that does it. It's gotta be a continuous, it's a culture thing, right? Creating a culture of curiosity and wanting to improve and get better. And I think organizations that create that kind of culture are going to be the ones that thrive.
There's a real need for organizations that provide that psychological safety,
Yes,
make
yes.
mistakes, to try
Mhm,
new things, to
mhm.
become different.
Yes,
And that's where all the great innovation comes in, and all those organizations that have been innovative.
yes, yes. You know, and that's the one. Another thing I think, like, um, you know, all your training, and I know people like to watch cost and all of that, but what I like about Tally is that some companies think all the training has to take place at their company. Like, what we do that's different is we create an environment where people can say, and we say this up front when they come in, when the cohort is in the room, we tell them this class is like Vegas. What happens here stays here. So it's you know, it allows people to open up and say what they need to say, because that's when you truly learn. If you share really what the experiences that you're going through. Sometimes you can't do that in a training session in your own company, you know, and what that does is it keeps people from truly sharing their experience, and so other people can learn from it. And so I think that's what's really different about the programs we offer, is that safe space, and being able to share common experiences, because sometimes you can feel like when you're working in a company, I'm just speaking from a African American perspective right now, but you know, and of course we're not exclusive. I mean, we're open to any race in our programs, but we do focus on Black leadership. But like, for example, when I was an executive with Hilton, I didn't know about this program, of course. I wish and I don't even think it existed, but it would have been great if it did. But one of the things you feel like sometimes when you're a vice president at a large corporation, you feel like you're on an island sometimes, and you're the only person going through certain things. And when you're in a room full of other executives, and they're saying, and you start feeling like, oh wow, you go through that too. I didn't know, you know, and it just creates a dynamic that I can't even describe. It creates a learning, it cultivates a way where people can, like I say, learn from each other and truly be themselves. And that's the best. That's the best place to be in.
And really, we need leaders to be modeling.
Yes, yes. Got to walk the talk, right? You can't. Yep, you got to walk the talk, and that's the best way to, like you said, to model it. You know, you got to be curious yourself. You got to be learning yourself. You got to be continuing to grow. I can't be in a better situation because I sit in all these classes, each cohort. So I'm learning from some of the best people all the time, and so that's a huge advantage. That's a huge advantage.
In your view, what's one outdated belief about corporate learning that we need to let go of, and what should replace it?
Hmm. Um, I think skills training is important. Don't get me wrong. I want to make sure I say this right. I think you really need to train people on skills, the skills that they need. But I think corporations are still thinking of things like being relational, um, having empathy, transparency. They still see those as soft skills, but those skills are not soft skills. They're hard skills. They might be, you know, because those are the leadership skills you need to have. Man, I'm getting ready to get on my soapbox right here. Okay.
Okay.
Just because a person is an exceptional salesperson doesn't make them an exceptional leader. Sometimes we promote people because they were good at a particular skill set. Leadership requires something different. Okay. And so my thing is, yes, train them on the skills, but if you're going to promote someone, you have to make sure that they understand the importance of leading people. I think that's a different set. That's a very different set of skills. Teaching people how to influence, inspire, being an empathetic leader, understanding, coaching, all of that. But those are considered soft skills in a lot of places. That's an outdated, it needs to go away because that's not a soft skill. Those are skills that you need to be a successful leader.
And those are ones that when we promote individual contributors because they're terrific at what they do,
Yes.
put them into management positions, those are those skills, how to empathize, how
Yes.
to relate to different personality types, how
Yes.
to create a motivational environment where people are respond to different things. Those are not abilities that people are born with necessarily,
Right.
and
Right.
they can be very difficult to teach.
It could be. It could be. But like things like emotional intelligence, those things can be taught. EQ can be taught. But if you promote it, because if you promoted me because I was great at whatever my skill was, and you make me to lead people, I just feel like you're gonna stumble. It's gonna be a challenge because it just requires a different set of abilities and things, and be able to do that. And so, for all of the people that are out here listening today, just because Mary is great at doing, whatever it is she does, the make sure she gets the training. So if you put her in a leadership role, so she can be successful in that as well.
And that's such an important thing for people to realize that a good 60% of new managers fail in the first 2 years.
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
because they're not good people, and it's not because they're not trying, but if they are not given the support and the training that they need, it's very hard for them to be successful.
Yeah.
And of course, when they're not successful, that has a domino effect on the entire organization because their
Absolutely.
employees are demoralized, productivity falls.
Hmm.
You mentioned how learning is an investment. It's not a cost center.
That's right. That's right. And it's funny that you had that 60% statistic. We did some of our sponsors asked us to come up with another program, and we did a couple of years ago, for maybe supervisor level roles, people like maybe in the front line a little bit more. So it's a level below the emerging leaders, but of course they contribute to the organizations as well. And it's called Unlocking Leadership Excellence. And that's funny that you said that. We get data from every program we do. We survey and make sure we're doing the right things and making sure that we're being relevant. And when we got the results from the people that went to the Unlocking Leadership Excellence, it says 60% of them said they had never had leadership training before. That was the first time. First time. And they may have been with the company for years. So, I mean, I'm with you 100% on that. And that's when you have situations, because if you don't train that person right, and you said it will cascade down and hurt morale and all of that, and that just hurts the whole organization. So I'm a huge employee experience person. And so I talk a lot about, when I do my customer experience keynotes, is that you can't have a positive customer experience without a positive employee experience first. So I talk a lot about the importance of making sure your team is engaged, they understand the vision, they understand the mission, and that all of that, and they're excited to come to work, because that will bleed into how they deliver whatever it is they're supposed to deliver to your guests and clients. But if they're having a negative experience, what do you think is going to happen? It's gonna, I mean, some of the things are just common sense, but We still have challenges with it, but I am one of those people. Every keynote I'm talking about employee engagement, because even in the Gallup polls, we still have only 30% of people are engaged at work. I mean, it's still a huge issue. So I when I do speak or anything else that I do, I'm always talking about, hey, look, you're the spark, right? As a leader, you're the one people are going to mirror and emulate what they see from you, and that's going to make all the difference in the world. So, see, I'm already doing a keynote right now. See, I'm already ready. I'm already ready to go, Deborah. I'm just passionate about stuff,
And that's what we need, passionate trainers.
Yes.
And how are you leveraging data? You were talking about data, technology, or new learning methods to create more personalized and effective learning experiences?
Yeah, well, we like I said before, we use data. We survey all of our participants pre and post courses. I mean, pre and post programs. So we like to see, because we know what curriculum we're going to have, and so we have questions set up to ask them where they are from that particular, right before they enter the program, and then they see if we look at when if we move the needle for them at the end of the program. So I'm excited. We haven't gotten the results from the most recent one yet, but I'm excited to see that. But if we see things aren't quite working, we will adjust. We have no problem doing that, and we have done it. And so I think it's just important. I always say feedback is a gift, right? We may not like the box it comes in sometimes, or the wrapper, you're like, but hey, it's the only way you're going to improve. And so we really take data seriously, and we make changes when we need to.
As a trainer for all these years, I have always made sure that I have had an evaluation after every session.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because if you are, particularly for multi-day programs, if you are losing people the first day, you can't wait till the last day to find that out.
Right. No.
And if things are working well, you want to make sure that you reinforce that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. We survey, because we usually have 5 modules. We do 2 levels of survey. So we do a survey for each of the faculty member for each course, and then we do a pre and post for the overall program. Because we just think, because some faculty, all of them are created equal, and some of them resonate better with cohort better than others. And so we want to make sure we have the best of the best every single time. And but most of the time we don't have issues usually with the faculty, but we do want to make sure the subjects or what we're offering is relevant. So, like, of course, everybody's all the screaming about AI and all of that, and I get that. So we put more courses in there around that as well. But we do like strategy, global trends, and things like that. So it just depends on what the feedback we get, and we make sure we adjust accordingly.
If you could give one piece of advice to leaders who want to build a true culture of continuous learning, what would it be?
I think we already said it. Model it. I think you have to, like I said, people are going to mirror and emulate what they see from their leadership. If they see you're always asking questions, being curious, taking classes, continuing to get better all the time, I think that gives your staff permission to do the same. But if you don't, and that's why I don't like the training once or twice a year. You should always try to offer something. So it's just a continuous cycle of development and learning. And I think that will permeate into your culture. Culture to me is everything. So if you have a learning culture, your organization is going to thrive. And you just got to model it. Like I say, you got to walk. Your audio has to match your video, is what I like to say. Right?
Or walk your talk.
Walk your talk. That's right. That's right.
Is there anything you'd like to add that I haven't asked about?
Um, the only thing I think that's important is whatever it is you decide to do from a training standpoint, just make sure you're doing it to. It's good if you inspire them, but you really want to change behavior, and one of the things that Tally, one of the words that always comes up every cohort, Deborah, is this program was transformative. That right there says everything to us. Because if we can transform you to be a better leader than when you came, we did our jobs, and if you're out there, if you're focusing on creating adaptable leaders, developing your people and fostering belonging in your culture, you're going to go a long way, because that's really what we need to focus on today.
Yeah, I get very distraught over training programs, webinars particularly, that you sit in passively, you take in information maybe, but there's no behavior change. There's no real learning.
Mm-hmm.
Write notes, but then you put them away. If you haven't had a chance to try what you're being taught and to learn what it feels like and to test it out, you're never going to do it back in the job.
Yeah. We try to get, commitment. Going through a program like Tally, I mean, the organization is investing a lot of money in you. So we really, really try to make sure when they go back that they share what they've learned and then demonstrate what they've learned. And 98% of them say that they use what they've learned in Tally when they go back. So the skills and things that we teach them, it helps them be successful. And that's why you do it. And Tally does a great job at it. So, yeah.
Right. Well, thank you, Calvin. This has been marvelous.
You're welcome. And thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been a wonderful conversation. And I'd be happy to come back anytime, Deborah.
Right. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
And I want to thank our listeners for listening in to the conversation. And I hope that you learned as much as I did from this session. Join us next week on June 23rd as we meet with Martine Kalow, VP of Learning and Development at SalesLoft, where she's driven 80% AI adoption across 800 employees. And if you'd like to assess the skills of your trainers and your managers, please reach out to me on LinkedIn for a free assessment that you can use. Because if your managers aren't meeting a certain standard, and if your trainers aren't meeting a certain standard, it's very hard to have a continuously learning culture. And please remember that Laurel and Associates Limited is always focused on making lackluster leaders legendary, as smart learning fuels real business results. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Learning Advantage from Insight to Impact. We'll look forward to seeing you again next week.
Every lesson, every workshop, every failed attempt you save becomes a map upon the desktop.